Have you ever wondered why Japanese families seem to grow wealth so naturally while many Americans struggle just to get by? The surprising truth is that it's not about how much money they make, but about financial secrets they've been practicing for centuries. Warren Buffett even mentioned that some of his richest friends are Japanese, and they all follow the same timeless principles for building wealth. What makes this even more interesting is that they do it quietly, without showing off with luxury cars, oversized houses, or the flashy signs of wealth we often see in America. So what's their secret? I've uncovered 10 powerful financial principles that explain why the Japanese are so skilled at creating long-lasting wealth, and each one works like a piece of an ancient puzzle. When you see them together, they completely change the way you think about money. And the final principle, number 1, is the most powerful of all. It's the key difference between families who create lasting financial security and those who only look wealthy on the outside. What's shocking is how opposite it is to what most Americans believe about money, which is why so many miss it. I'm going to count down these 10 secrets from number 10 all the way to number 1, saving the most powerful for last, and by the time we get there, you'll understand exactly how Japanese families manage to build real wealth even with modest incomes, without taking big risks or falling into the trap of debt. Let's start with secret number 10, a principle so powerful it can completely change the way you see wealth. Ask yourself this: if you lost all your money tomorrow, how quickly could you recover? Most people would panic and think without money they're finished, but in Japan, wealth is viewed in a very different way. It's not just about bank balances or possessions. Even Warren Buffett has said he learned this idea from his Japanese friends. In the US, we usually measure wealth by things like cars, houses, investments, or expensive watches, but the Japanese focus on what they call invisible assets. These are things that no one can ever take from you, like your network, your reputation, and your knowledge. For example, I once met a Japanese entrepreneur who lost everything during the 2008 financial crisis, but within a month he already had job offers and investors lining up to work with him. Why? Because for years he had been building something more valuable than money: trust and relationships. And here's the amazing part: research from Harvard shows that people with strong invisible assets recover financially twice as fast after a crisis compared to others. Think about it. How many people do you know who could help you find a new job tomorrow, or lend you money without hesitation? That is your true safety net. What's even better is that unlike cars or houses, which lose value over time, invisible assets grow stronger the more you invest in them. Every new skill you learn, every relationship you nurture, every experience you gain becomes more valuable year after year, almost like an investment that compounds forever and can never be stolen. So the real question is, are you actively building your invisible assets? If you found this idea eye-opening, just wait until you see the next Japanese secret, an ancient method they use to turn these invisible assets into real wealth, and the best part is, anyone can apply it, even if they're starting from zero. The 9th secret is the Kikbo method, a powerful Japanese practice that has been helping families manage money for over 100 years. If you've ever checked your bank account at the end of the month and wondered where all your money went, you're not alone. Most Americans face the same struggle. But the Japanese solved this long ago with Kikbo, a simple yet highly effective system that even Japan's biggest banks recommend. Unlike complicated apps or spreadsheets, Kikbo uses nothing more than a notebook, but studies show families using it save 35% more money than those relying on digital tools. The reason is simple: when you physically write down every purchase, you become more mindful, forcing yourself to think twice before spending. Swiping a card feels effortless, but writing down a purchase makes you confront it directly, bringing money back into the real world where you can see, feel, and control it. A study of 1,000 Japanese households revealed that families practicing Kikbo had almost no credit card debt, not because they earned more, but because they spent more carefully. Every purchase had to answer 4 basic questions: can I live without this? Do I already own something similar? Will this really make my life better? And can I get it cheaper somewhere else? If you want to try it, grab a notebook and divide your expenses into 4 categories: needs, wants, culture, things that improve your life, and unexpected costs. For 1 week, Write down every single purchase without judgment, just awareness. You'll be surprised at how quickly small expenses like $5 coffees or random online orders add up. But Kikbo is more than just tracking, it's about understanding your relationship with money. The Japanese believe that how you spend reflects your values and priorities, and once you see your spending patterns on paper, you gain clarity about your life choices. That's where true financial transformation begins. And speaking of transformation, the next Japanese secret reveals how families save money without ever feeling deprived, completely changing the way you think about spending, and it's something you can start doing as soon as tomorrow. The eighth secret is financial minimalism, a Japanese principle called danshari that changes the way people think about money and possessions. Have you ever bought something only to see it collect dust months later? Multiply that by years and you'll understand why this concept matters. Unlike the usual financial advice that tells you to budget harder, the Japanese focus on making smarter choices about what they own. In America, we're surrounded by messages like, buy now, pay later, or treat yourself, you deserve it, which leaves many people with homes full of things they don't need, bought with money they don't have, to impress people they don't even like. But the Japanese discovered that owning less actually means having more money, more freedom, and more peace of mind. Here's a surprising fact, the average American home has around 300,000 items, while Japanese homes typically have less than a third of that, yet Japanese families report higher financial satisfaction. Why? Because they follow a simple rule, if something doesn't add real value to your life, it's only draining your wallet. I once learned this firsthand through the Japanese idea of cost per use. I used to buy cheap clothes often, thinking I was saving money, but they wore out quickly. Then I realized that one $100 quality shirt lasting 5 years is actually cheaper than 5 $30 shirts that fall apart after a few months. This shift in thinking saved me thousands and improved my wardrobe. Japanese minimalism isn't about living like a monk, it's about being intentional with money. Before buying anything, they ask 3 questions. Will this truly improve my life? Could this money be better invested? And would I still want this in 30 days? If the answer is no to any, they skip the purchase and put that money into investments instead. You can try this yourself with a 30-day challenge. Before buying anything non-essential, write it down and revisit it after a month. You'll be amazed at how many things you thought you needed no longer matter. This simple habit can save you thousands every year, money that could be working for you and growing your wealth instead of sitting in clutter. But saving money is just one part of the bigger picture. In our next secret, I'll show you why Japanese families rarely use credit cards and how this simple choice protects their wealth better than most investment strategies. The 7th secret is the Japanese fear of debt. Unlike Americans, who swipe cards for almost everything, the Japanese avoid them because they see the hidden cost, credit card debt. The average American household carries about $7,000 in card debt with interest rates over 20%, while in Japan only 18% of payments are made with cards. It's not a lack of access but mindset. They believe debt is a heavy burden and even call it a form of financial imprisonment. Think about it, paying 20% interest on everyday purchases means working 1 day out of 5 just for the credit card companies. A Japanese advisor once told me, if you need a credit card to buy something, you can't afford it. At first it sounded harsh, but the math proved him right. An $11,000 purchase at 20% APR can cost thousands more in interest. Instead, the Japanese prefer cash or debit because physically handing over money makes spending real, and studies show people spend 12 to 18% less this way. You can try it too with a 30-day cash challenge. Take out your weekly budget in cash and notice how much more carefully you spend. You don't need to cut up your cards, just save them for true emergencies or big purchases you can pay off immediately. And if you've ever struggled with credit card debt, share your story in the comments, or if you're debt-free, write debt-free to inspire others. 6th secret, financial education from birth. In America, most people never learn about money in school and grow up with sayings like, money doesn't grow on trees. But in Japan, kids start learning about money as early as age 5, not with complex lessons, but by understanding its real value. While American kids often get allowances for nothing, Japanese children learn that money must be earned and managed wisely. This difference shows up later. 65% of American adults live paycheck to paycheck, while Japan has some of the highest savings rates in the world. Japanese parents teach 3 simple rules: earn wisely, save consistently, and invest for the long term. A common method is the 3-jar system: spend, save, and invest. Every yen a child earns is divided between the jars, teaching them habits schools never cover. Parents also connect money to effort by asking, "Is this worth the time you spent earning it?" This builds a deep respect for money and sets kids up for financial independence. You can start this at home with your own kids, but here's the best part: this is only the beginning. In the next secret, I'll show you the Japanese community savings system that makes saving money almost automatic. 5th secret, the power of community. Saving money alone can feel overwhelming, but in Japan, people use a centuries-old system called tenoshi that makes saving easier and more effective. Here's how it works: a group of 10 people each put $100 into a shared pot every month, and one person takes home the full $1,000. The cycle continues until everyone has received their share. This method doesn't just help with savings, it creates accountability, motivation, and a sense of teamwork. Studies show people are 75% more likely to reach their financial goals when saving in groups compared to going solo, because humans are naturally more committed when others are counting on them. One Japanese family I spoke with used this system with 5 other families and saved enough for a home down payment in just 18 months. Instead of feeling like sacrifice, the process felt like a celebration of progress together. Want to try this yourself? Start small, find 2 or 3 trusted friends with similar financial goals, agree on a monthly contribution, say $200 each, track everything with a simple spreadsheet, and meet monthly to share wins and challenges. The key is surrounding yourself with people as committed as you are. In the next secret, I'll show you how the Japanese use smart frugality to make every dollar work harder without ever feeling deprived. 4th secret, smart frugality. No matter how much people earn, it often feels like money disappears too quickly, but the Japanese use a concept called madanai to make every dollar count. Instead of being cheap, it's about getting maximum value from each purchase. While the average American household wastes over $1,500 a year on unused subscriptions, spoiled food, and impulse buys, Japanese families focus on spending better, not just less. For example, instead of buying $4 coffees every day, they might invest $200 in a quality coffee maker that lasts 10 years, saving over $10,000 in the long run. Their approach is simple: if something doesn't bring lasting value, it isn't worth buying. That means one excellent jacket instead of 5 mediocre ones, or paying for only the streaming service they truly use. You can apply this by doing a value audit of last month's expenses. Ask, did this bring me real value? Could I have gotten it cheaper, and will it still matter in a year? Cutting out waste frees money for the things that truly improve your life. In the next secret, I'll share the Japanese system for organizing money that turns even the most disorganized spender into a financial pro. 3rd secret, the envelope system. Many people reach the end of the month wondering where their money went, but the Japanese use a simple system called shunyu bukuro, or the envelope method, to make every dollar count. Instead of relying on apps that make money invisible, they divide their income into physical envelopes: housing, food, savings, entertainment, and so on. When an envelope is empty, spending in that category stops. Studies show this method helps people save about 28% more than digital budgeting because seeing cash physically leave your hands makes spending real. I learned this firsthand. After switching from a budgeting app to envelopes, I realized I'd been overspending $600 a month, $200 a year. To start, assign percentages to each envelope, like housing 35%, food 15%, transportation 15%, savings 20%, entertainment 10%, and miscellaneous 5%, and adjust to your lifestyle. Never borrow from one envelope to cover another. It builds awareness and self-discipline naturally. The real power isn't just in controlling spending, it's psychological. seeing your savings grow motivates you in a way no app can. In the next secret, we'll explore the Japanese approach to investing, which differs completely from typical American strategies and explains why many Japanese families stay financially strong for generations. Second secret, investing like the Japanese. Many people invest in the stock market, yet few actually build lasting wealth because they chase hot stocks or cryptocurrency trends. Japanese investors, on the other hand, follow a strategy that has worked for generations, and it's simple enough for anyone to use, regardless of financial knowledge. While 85% of individual investors lose money trying to time the market, the Japanese focus on steady, consistent investing in proven assets, what they call steady stream investing. Instead of gambling for quick gains, they grow wealth like tending a garden, patiently and methodically. A Japanese mentor once told me, if you can't explain an investment to a 10-year-old, don't put your money in it, and this wisdom helps avoid risky, complicated financial products. They prefer understandable investments like low-cost index funds, dividend-paying stocks, and REITs. Their strategy has 3 core rules: invest for the long term, prioritize steady income over quick wins, and never invest money you can't afford to lose. For example, investing $500 monthly in a broad market index fund with an average 8% return could grow to over $500,000 in 25 years, showing the power of patience and consistency. To start, use the sleep test: only invest in things that won't keep you awake at night worrying. Begin with index funds or solid dividend-paying companies like Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble. These may not be exciting, but the goal is to build wealth, not to have flashy stories to tell at parties. And the most interesting part? The final secret ties all of these lessons together and reveals the ultimate principle behind Japanese wealth building: what truly separates those who achieve lasting financial security from those who merely appear wealthy, and once you understand it, you'll never see money the same way again. First secret, silent wealth. Have you noticed that people driving expensive cars or living in huge houses aren't always as wealthy as they seem? In Japan, there's a concept called silent wealth, and it's the opposite of the flashy success many Americans chase. A study even found that 80% of American millionaires drive ordinary cars and live in modest homes, exactly how the wealthy live in Japan. While Americans often go into debt trying to look rich, the Japanese focus on actually being rich. The core idea is simple: real wealth doesn't need to be seen. Japanese families often live in modest homes, send their kids to public schools, and avoid luxury brands, knowing that every dollar spent on appearances is a dollar not building actual wealth. Early in my career, I followed the fake it till you make it mindset, leasing luxury cars and wearing expensive watches to look successful, until I met a Japanese businessman who changed my perspective. He was worth millions, but drove a Toyota and wore a simple watch. His wealth was in what he invested, not what he owned. To embrace silent wealth, try this for 30 days. Before every purchase, ask yourself if you need it or just want others to see it. Then, take the money you would have spent on status symbols and invest it instead. Build a retirement account, grow your emergency fund, or put it in low-cost index funds. True wealth is built quietly, away from social media likes and public validation. It may feel different from American habits, but consider this: would you rather have a garage full of flashy cars or a portfolio full of appreciating assets? Would you rather impress strangers today or build generational wealth for your family's future? The choice is yours, and as the Japanese have shown for generations, quiet wealth is often the most powerful. Now that you know these Japanese financial secrets, I want to hear from you. Which one impacted you the most? Between showing off wealth and building silent wealth, which path will you choose? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one and love seeing your insights. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications to not miss our future uploads. See you in the next video.